I'm Anil Kumar, and here is an excellent question on rates of change in rational functions. Given the function f of x equals to 3x over x minus 2, determine the coordinates of a point on f of x for x greater than 3 and less than 6, where the slope of the tangent line is equal to the slope of the secant line passing through a 3, 9 and b 6, 9 over 2. Now this is a very good question. I'd like you to carefully watch this video and understand each and every bit of it, right? So what we really need is to find the slope of the secant line, and then we have to find a point on the given function which has the same slope. And that point should be for x between 3 and 6. So that is the question, right? So let's begin by finding slope of the secant line. So slope of the secant line will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now we are given points A and B. A is 3, 9 and B is 6, 9 by 2, right? So this is our x1, y1 and this is x2, y2, correct? So we'll put y2 as 9 by 2. So we'll have 9 by 2 minus 9. I'm squeezing in things here since I have a very limited space to work with. And x values difference is 6 minus 3, right? So let's do this fraction part. We'll take 2 common and we get 9 minus 18 divided by 3. Now 9 minus 18 is minus 9. So we get minus 9 over 2 divided by 3. So I could write this as times 1 over 3, correct? Divided by 3 is times 1 over 3. Now that could be simplified. 3 goes 3 times with 9 as minus 3 over 2. So the secant slope is minus 3 over 2. So now what we are going to do is we are going to apply difference quotient method to find the rate of change for the function at a general point, and let that general point be any point on x. We'll just use the number x, right? So instantaneous rate of change at any point will be f of x plus h minus f of x over h, correct? So in this particular case, x plus h will replace x with x plus h, correct? So we will get 3 times x plus h over x plus h minus 2, correct? We are replacing x with this, minus f of x, the same function, right? You could use a also, any point a, and then figure out, but I prefer to write x itself. So we have 3x over x minus 2. So that is f(x plus h over x divided by h. So instead of writing divided by like normally we write, I will write here as 1 over h, right? So this is the same as the whole thing divided by h. Now since I'm running out of space, I have to somehow economize on the space, right? Now at this stage it's a good practice to take 3 common, right? So we'll go one step further and we'll write this as x plus h over x plus h minus 2 minus x over x minus 2. Now these are important steps. Many times if you solve like this, you save on space and you make things simpler. I have taken 3 common, right? So I don't have to multiply everything by 3. Do you understand that part? It's just kind of neat, right? So let's continue. So now at this stage we can cross multiply, have a common denominator. So in the numerator we get x plus h times x minus 2 minus x times x plus h minus 2. That's the numerator after cross multiplying. The denominator here will be x plus h minus 2 times x minus 2 times 3 over h, correct? Times 3 over h. Do you see how neat it is? So that is how, or if you want to be very specific, it's good to use these square brackets so that we don't really get confused. Now let's open these brackets. So x times x is x squared minus 2x, then xh plus and minus 2h. Here we get So we have to change all the signs, right? X square minus xh and plus 2x over, okay, I forgot to write that, I have to write it, over x plus h minus 2 times x minus 2. Let me write h here itself. I'm writing h here. And everything times 3. Let me write here. Okay, since I have lesser space here. Okay, now let's simplify. So as you can see, these three terms should cancel out. Always remember that part. If not, something has gone wrong, right? Minus xh and 2x. Where is 2x? Here it is, correct? So what are you left with? You're left with minus 2h times 3, right? The 3 is here also, right? 3 times minus 2h. Let me show you. 3 times minus 2h. I'm multiplying these two now, okay? So that's what we get. 3 times, let me write 3 times minus 2h for the time being, over x plus h. So do not expand denominator. So whenever you do these questions, do not expand denominator. That is kind of a rule to get the answer quickly without any problems. Now h is a common factor, so they cancel out. So we are left with minus 6 over, now h approaches 0, we get x minus 2 whole square, correct? X minus 2 whole square. So what we have done is, since we know in this formula, we know that h, let me write here, h is very, very small as compared to 1. So we equated h as 0 at this stage, correct? That's what you do, right? So instantaneous rate of change at any point x is minus 6 divided by x minus 2 whole square for this. But what are we given? We want to find a point where the slope is minus 3 over 2, right? So we will write this slope as minus 3 over 2, correct? So let me now simplify this, and I'll say, since I need a point on my function where the tangent slope is minus 3 over 2, I will equate minus 6 over x minus 2 whole square equals to minus 3 over 2. Do you see that? So that is how we can equate, and now we have only one variable and we can solve for that, correct? So let us cross multiply. So we'll cross multiply, but what we can do is minus 3 will go 2 times with minus 6. So when we cross multiply, so we are cross multiplying. Have a good look at it. So we get, okay, let me do it in 2 steps. So we get minus 12 equals to minus 3 times x minus 2 whole square. So I didn't really simplify at this stage, but I'll do it later. Now let us get back to this out here. So minus 12 divided by minus 3 is 4, right? So from here we can get 4 equals to x minus 2 whole square, correct? So 4 equals to x minus 2 whole square. So now we can actually square root it, and then we get, this implies that square root of 4 is equal to x minus 2. Now whenever you do square root of 4, you have to do plus and minus, correct? So we have plus and minus, because both minus 2 square will be 4 and plus 2 square will be 4. So that gives us that x minus 2 is equals to plus and minus 2. And this gives us two answers. One is x equals to plus 2 plus 2, right? We have 2 plus 2, which is 4. And the other one is x is equals to minus 2 plus 2, which is 0. So we get two answers from here, correct? Now as you can see, the answer which is between these 2 points, we want something x value which is between 3 and 6, is only 4. Do you see that? So the point where the tangent line will have a slope of same as that of the secant will be at x equals to 4, right? Determine the coordinates of the points, it says. So we have to also find the y value. Is that okay? So we found that at 4 we have the same secant, so we can find what is f of 4. So we'll substitute 4 here. So we get 3 times 4 divided by 4 minus 2, which is 12 over 2, that is 6. And therefore the point is 4, 6. Do you see that? So that is our answer. And this is how we are going to solve it. Now, because of the space problem, I've gone like this in the horizontal way. But I think if you would have followed the video, you would have understood this mess also. But anyway, it at least gives you a hint how to solve these kinds of questions. So have a good look at it and try it on your own, right? So you should do it on your own and see if you get the same answer and if you understand the method. Thank you and all the best.